Most people believe that getting older means getting weaker, stiffer, slower, and eventually dependent on others. But what if that is a lie, and believing it has quietly stolen independence from millions of people? What if, in just a few minutes, I could show you 5 simple, science-backed movements that help you stand up from the floor with ease, walk with confidence, and reclaim your independence at any age? In my 25 years as a physical therapist working with adults in their 60s, 70s, and even their 90s, I have seen strength return faster than people ever expected, not from heavy workouts, but from the right movements done the right way. Let's be clear, the real enemy is not age, it is inactivity, and the moment you send your body the right signal, it begins to adapt. Today I am going to teach you those 5 movements, and make sure you stick around for the 5th one because it is your anti-fall armor and the key to long-term independence. These movements are not about pushing harder, they are about waking your body back up so you can stand taller, move with confidence, and reclaim control of your daily life. And before we begin, take a moment to tell me your name and where you are watching from, because this journey is always stronger when we take it together. Most people blame aging for the way their body feels, but the truth is far simpler and far more encouraging. Your body weakens when it is not challenged. Muscles shrink when they are not asked to do their job. They atrophy quietly over months and years until everyday tasks start to feel heavier than they should. Joints do not lock up because of age either. They lock up because they stop moving through their full range and the tissues around them tighten like a door that has not been opened in far too long. Balance fades the same way. It is not a mystery. It is a skill, and like any skill, it declines when you stop practicing it. The reason this matters is because none of these changes are permanent. They are simply adaptations to inactivity. And the moment you give your body a new signal, it begins to adapt in the other direction. I have seen it happen again and again with people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. When you begin to challenge your muscles, they grow. When you start moving your joints, they unlock. When you train your balance, it returns. Your body is not done learning. It is not stuck. It is responding to whatever you ask of it, and that means you can change the trajectory starting today. The first movement is called hanging, and it is one of the simplest ways to rebuild the shoulders and reawaken strength you may not have felt in years. When you hang, your spine gently decompresses, and the small stabilizing muscles around your shoulders begin to fire again. If you are a beginner, you can start with an assisted hang by placing a chair or sturdy support under your feet so you only take on as much body weight as you feel safe with. Let your hands hold the bar softly and allow your shoulders to open while keeping your ribs down and your neck long. Start with 5 to 10-second holds and simply accumulate time without forcing anything. If you are able to go further, you can move into a full dead hang where your feet lift off the ground and your body hangs freely. Aim for 20 to 40 seconds at a time and focus on slow, steady breaths while you keep the shoulders relaxed and avoid shrugging up toward your ears. As your strength increases, you can explore advanced variations like mixed grips, scapular pulls, or even one-arm hangs. The long-term goal is to build 5 minutes of accumulated hanging each day and eventually up to 10 minutes if your body tolerates it well. A 2018 study published in the BMJ showed that low grip strength is one of the strongest predictors of early death linked to heart disease, cancer, and all-cause mortality. That alone makes hanging worth your time, but the real proof comes from people just like you. One of my students, Chris, who is 61 years old, began with only a 2-second assisted hang. Within a few weeks, she reached 30 seconds unassisted and told me she had not felt her shoulders this free in decades. It even inspired her to start hula hooping again because her upper body finally felt open and alive. Hanging is simple, safe, and incredibly effective. Do it every day, and you will decompress your spine, strengthen your shoulders, and grip more life than you thought possible. The second movement is the deep squat, and this is not a gym exercise. It is the original human resting position, and losing it is one of the fastest ways to lose mobility, balance, and eventually independence. When you stop using this position, your ankles stiffen, your hips lose their power, and your spine no longer knows how to move freely. That is why I treat the deep squat as survival training, especially for adults in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. If you are a beginner, start by holding a door frame or the edge of a couch so your body feels safe as you lower yourself down. Let your chest stay tall and sit your hips back while keeping your feet flat. If your heels lift or your body feels pulled forward, Place a couple of books under your heels to give your ankles extra support. This little change often helps people drop into the position for the first time in years. Practice accumulating 2 to 5 minutes a day in this supported squat. If you can go further, try the unassisted version. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, your toes slightly turned out, and slowly lower yourself down until your hips settle between your knees. Keep your chest open and your heels grounded. At this level, the goal is comfort and control. Spend 15 to 20 minutes across your day sitting in this position, even in short bursts. Once your body becomes familiar with it, you can explore more advanced variations like widening or narrowing your stance, shifting side to side, or holding the position for longer periods. People who reach this level often spend 30 or more minutes throughout the day resting naturally in a deep squat. The reason all this matters is not just mobility. The 2012 Sitting Rising Test study in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that people who struggled to sit and rise from the floor were up to 5 times more likely to die within 6 years. Your ability to control your body through full-range movements is an incredibly strong predictor of long-term health. I have seen meaningful breakthroughs with students who simply brought the deep squat back into their lives. Pamela told me she sat fully down in a squat for the first time in decades and said she felt like her hips finally belonged to her again. Tom began with a shaky 30-second hold and worked his way up to 7 full minutes, and with every week he noticed his knees, hips, and back feeling lighter and stronger. The message is simple. Your squat is not optional. When you reclaim it, you reclaim your youth, your balance, and your long-term independence. The third movement is called sit to stand, and it is one of the clearest measures of independence as we age because the ability to get down to the floor and rise back up without help is the line between needing assistance and living freely. If you are a beginner, start with a sturdy chair and practice standing up without using your hands. Keep your feet hip-width apart, lean your chest slightly forward, press through your legs, and come to standing with steady control. Sit back down the same way and repeat until the motion feels natural. As your strength improves, lower the height of the chair or use a stool so your legs begin to work through a deeper range. When you reach the intermediate stage, begin practicing floor transitions. Lower yourself to the ground with control and come back up using only the support you truly need. You might start with one hand on your thigh or the floor, but the goal is to gradually reduce that support over time. When you are ready for the advanced version, explore different seated positions like cross-leg, kneeling, or side-sitting, and practice rising from each one smoothly without rushing. These controlled rises strengthen your legs, your core, and your balance all at once, and they train your body to trust the floor again, which is a major step toward long-term independence. This movement matters more than most people realize. Research from the Sitting Rising test showed that for every single point lost on the test, your risk of early death increases by 21%. That statistic speaks loudly because it reflects real-world function. I have seen the emotional impact this work can have. Patricia, in her 60s, told me her dream was simply to stand up from a chair without using her hands. 3 months later, she did it, and her confidence exploded. Catherine filmed herself standing from the floor for the first time in years, and the look on her face said everything about what it means to take back control of your body. This is why I want you to train, sit to stand every day. It is not just an exercise. It is a direct investment in your independence and the life you want to keep living. The fourth movement is hip mobility, and for adults in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, this is one of the most important forms of protection you can give your body, because stiff hips are directly tied to poor balance, higher fall risk, the loss of independence. When the hips stop moving, well, the body compensates with the lower back, the knees, and the feet, and over time, that pattern leads to pain, instability, and fear of movement. We restore this by teaching the hips to rotate and load again, just like they were designed to do. If you are a beginner, start with the 90-90 position. Sit on the floor with one leg in front of you, bent at 90 degrees, and the other leg behind you, also at 90 degrees. Use your hands for support and slowly rotate your knees side to side, moving between both positions. Add gentle forward rocks over the front leg to teach the tissues how to lengthen without forcing anything. These small motions do a lot to unlock the hips safely. As you get stronger, move to the intermediate level. Work on pigeon poses, where the front shin is placed on the floor and your back leg extends behind you. Lower your chest forward just enough to feel the stretch and breathe through it. You can also begin low gait flows, which are simple movements where you shift your body from one hip to the other while staying close to the ground. These patterns rebuild mobility and strength at the same time. When you are ready for the advanced stage, explore locomotion patterns like crawling gait flows and floor-based transitions, where your hands, feet, and hips work together to move you across the floor. These movements build powerful hips and incredible control, and they train your body to handle the unexpected, which is critical for fall prevention. 2014. Research shows hip fractures in older adults carry a 20 to 30% chance of death within 1 year, and most of those outcomes come from the rapid loss of mobility after the injury. This is why maintaining hip mobility is more than flexibility. It is life insurance. I have seen remarkable changes in people who commit to this work. Michelle could not bend down to feed her dogs without pain. After practicing hip mobility, she sent me a video laughing as she reached the floor with ease. Sharon went from waking up every night with hip pain to sleeping comfortably and performing deep squats she never thought were possible. Your hips are the foundation of your movement. When you free them, you protect your balance, your confidence, and your independence for years to come. The fifth movement is isometrics and core stability, and I want you to think of this as your anti-fall armor, because strength that holds you still is just as important as strength that moves you. When your body can create tension without collapsing, you become steadier on your feet, your joints feel more supported, and your confidence rises every time you take a step. If you are a beginner, start with simple wall sits. Slide your back down a wall until your knees are comfortably bent, then hold that position while keeping your core gently braced and your breath steady. Add basic planks by placing your hands or forearms on a counter or the floor and holding your body in a straight line. Practice supported balance by lifting 1 foot an inch off the ground while lightly touching a chair. These small holds teach your body how to stabilize again. When you reach the intermediate level, extend your plank times and work toward deeper isometric squats where you hold the lowered position instead of moving in and out. Add single leg balances where you stand tall and lift one leg while keeping your hips level. These holds strengthen your ankles, knees, and core in a way that carries directly into your daily life. When you are ready for the advanced variations, try loaded carries where you walk slowly while holding weight at your sides or overhead and explore static strength. Holds like longer wall sits or more challenging plank positions. You can even practice chest-to-wall handstands, which dramatically improve shoulder stability and whole body control. All of these patterns build stability from the ground up. This is not just about strength. Falls are the second leading cause of accidental death in older adults worldwide, and most of those falls come from a loss of stability, not a loss of muscle. That is why this work matters so much. I have seen powerful transformations from simple consistency. Gail in her 50s said that after 3 months of adding stability training, she felt stronger, moved better, and finally felt like herself again. Ingrid went from hip pain and balance struggles to performing pain-free squats and walking with a confidence she had not felt in years. Stability really does equal survival. Train it daily, and your body will reward you with steadiness, strength, and the freedom to move through your life without fear. To make this simple to follow, I want to give you a clear weekly schedule, so you always know exactly what to do and when to do it. If you like this schedule, hit the like button, and I have linked a printable PDF in the description below. On Monday, practice hanging, and hold it in short, comfortable sets until your shoulders feel open and your grip feels alive again. On Tuesday, focus on the deep squat and spend a few minutes throughout the day settling into the position with support if you need it. On Wednesday, work on sit to stand, starting from a chair and progressing toward the floor as your confidence grows. On Thursday, give your hips attention with gentle 90-90 rotations and a few slow floor shifts to keep the joints sliding and gliding the way they should. On Friday, train stability with a wall sit or a steady plank, just enough to remind your core how to hold you with control. On Saturday, repeat the deep squat or choose the movement that felt the most helpful during the week so your body keeps learning it. On Sunday, keep it light with hip mobility or a short hanging session so your joints stay awake without feeling overworked. This rhythm is not about being perfect. It is about giving your body steady signals day after day so it can stay strong, balanced, and capable. When you follow a simple schedule like this, you begin to notice how these movements blend into your daily life. You rise from a chair with more power, you steady yourself without thinking, and you feel the kind of confidence that only comes from a body that still knows how to adapt at any age. Quick recap of your 5 anti-aging movements. Hang, to decompress your spine and strengthen your shoulders. Deep squat, to reclaim your natural resting position. Sit to stand, your independence test. Hip mobility, your fall prevention shield. Isometrics, your anti-fall armor. Remember, consistency beats intensity. The movements you learn today are not tricks, and they are not shortcuts. Hanging, the deep squat, sit to stand, hip mobility, and stability work are the basic human patterns that keep you strong, steady, and independent, and they matter even more as you move through your 60s and beyond. These patterns rebuild the strength you use every time you reach, lift, bend, stand, or walk. And they do it in a way that feels natural to your body, because this is how the body was designed to move. The core message is simple. Movement does not slow aging, it reverses it. When you bring these signals back into your daily life, your muscles wake up, your joints loosen, your balance sharpens, and your confidence returns in small, powerful ways. I have seen this with countless students who thought their best days were behind them, until their bodies surprised them. Some regained shoulder freedom they had missed for decades. Some stood up from the floor for the first time in years. Others found themselves walking taller, moving easier, and feeling more like themselves again. These changes did not come from pushing harder. They came from practicing the right movements with consistency and patience. And now, it is your turn. Your body is not done learning. It is not done adapting. It is waiting for you to start. So take the first step today. Choose one movement and practice it with intention. If you want more guidance and tools to support you, I have put together a mobility toolkit that will help you follow these patterns safely and confidently. Check it out when you are ready and let it support you on this journey. And before you go, drop a yes in the comments if you are committed to trying one of these moves this week, and I will be there to cheer you on every step of the way.